YouTube. It is currently Thursday night, late at night. I'm staying up till midnight, as I do every Thursday, to listen to new music. And so while I was waiting, I thought I would chat with you lovely people, because you're wonderful.
Hey, I'm Annie, and this is Why You Should Love Music.
So on a video that I did a little while ago, I got this wonderful comment from Brendan, thank you. And he asked me to do a monthly Spotify playlist of just stuff that I've been listening to. And then he was like, and then you should do a video where you talk about the songs that you put on the playlist. So this is my monthly playlist for January. I realize it's almost March, but I have January, and then at the end of February I'll post February's, and then I'll start posting them at the end of the month. So here is Sure Jan. I'm sorry, you guys know me. They're probably all going to be terrible puns. Just get used to it or ignore it. I'm sorry. I can't control myself. I can't control my terrible humor. Sorry. So I'm going to go through this playlist, and I'll just tell you, like, in a few seconds, a little bit about each of the songs, why I was listening to it, what about it. I don't know. I'll just say a thing about it. And then I'll put the link in the description so you can go and listen to the playlist, and it's just going to be a way to, like, discover maybe music or songs that you haven't heard of or haven't listened to in a while. They're mostly probably going to be like new stuff that comes out, but then with like the occasional random stuff that was just in my head all month or that I was just really into that month. So, what was I listening to in January, my good people? Let's find out. Going to Spotify because I don't remember. That was so long ago. First song, So Close by Andrew McMahon. So close. I love that song. It came out in January. Did it come out in January? I feel like it came out in January. But I listened to it a lot in January because I love that song. It's hilarious and a little quirky, and it's all about the energy. It's all about potential energy, kind of, in this dichotomy of, like, you reach a specific point in life where you feel like something's about to happen. It's the opposing over-dramatizations of, like, the best possible outcome and the worst possible outcome. And it's just conflicting those. Like, this is either going to be awesome or terrible, but it's going to be epic either way. That song is really cool. I love it. It's alternative. It's wonderful. I love that album. Hold On by Flor. The song came out in January. I was unfamiliar with the band previous to the song, but I really like this track. It's kind of like alternative with like a little bit of electronic. I listen to predominantly alternative music, so I apologize in advance. If you hate alternative music, this is not going to be a playlist that you probably will like, but it will be new music. So I really like the song. It's just about like kind of being in the moment and life. It's almost like sorry, I don't know why I'm so jittery. This song gets me hyped. But it's just kind of like a snapshot of living in the moment and just a celebration of that moment. Castle on the Hill, Ed Sheeran. That song also came out in January. It was one of two. It was Castle on the Hill and Shape of You. Of course, now we have How Would You Feel, which I love even more, but that wasn't existing in January. I picked that one. It's actually not my favorite Ed Sheeran song, but I listened to it a lot just because it was new Ed Sheeran music, and I like Castle on a Hill much more than Shape of You. And it's a great tune. I love Ed Sheeran a lot, and it had been so long, so not just since he had made music, but since he kind of took like a hiatus from his internet life. So I had missed him in his absence. That's so creepy. But I was just excited to have new Ed Sheeran music, so I was like, yes, Castle on a Hill. It reminds me of like a modern version of 100 Years, but not at all. It's kind of like a nostalgic look back on what made you into the person that you are today. It's very reminiscent. Tiny Dancer, what's not to love? Oceans Away by Arizona. I don't know when exactly this came out, but I just discovered it in January. I had never heard of that band before. They're amazing. Beautiful, gorgeous harmonies. Love that song. Can't recommend it enough. Amazing. Rest My Bones by The Northern Empty. This is another new discovery. I found it in January. I believe it had come out previously, but I didn't know about it. It's a little folky, I guess, folk alternative a little, and I love it. This is another song about just kind of like slowing down and living in the moment. Apparently that was like, I was feeling that in January, the new year. I don't know, last year this was like, blink, it's gone. I don't know, maybe I was just feeling all the feels about time passing. I don't know. But Rest My Bones is really beautiful. Kind of different from what I normally listen to, but I really, really like it, and I listen to it a lot in January. Brooklyn, You're Killing Me. I'm sorry to have another one from the same album, but that album was amazing, and Brooklyn, You're Killing Me killed me. It was killing me. Came out in January, I'm pretty sure, and although it was one of the earlier singles, so it could have come out in December, I don't recall now. But I remember the first time I listened to it, I was like, I have very strong feelings about this. I don't know what they are. Like, it took me like a few days to kind of like, I listened to it a lot and I was like instantly drawn to it, but I was like, I think that I love this, but possibly I hate it. But I'm pretty sure I love it. And it turns out I did love it. But it's just very bizarre and very, very interesting, very different. I was instantly drawn to it just for its unique structure, and the way that it was built feels very new and creative and kind of not intuitive, but like, I don't know, just something about it just drew me to it. Even before I had really figured out how my emotions felt with it, my brain was like, yes, this is a thing that is good. So I listened to that like a lot, probably like a little obsessively. Also, I just had to listen to it a lot because that's one song that you can't listen to like one time. Like, it takes a while, it takes a minute, or at least for me, it took a while for me to kind of feel like I had accessed the full depth of its meaning. I don't know, some songs you can kind of instantly like, oh, I feel you, I know what you're saying. And for this song, for me, obviously it has a great deal to do with the backstory of how and why he was writing the album, but even just beyond that, just in isolation, the song I feel like has some really interesting depths, and it's not necessarily immediately clear all of its layers. So I really appreciated that. But that's one of the reasons why it's on my list of like the songs that I listen to the most in January, is because I feel like it's one of those that you kind of keep coming back to and uncover the layers. Cannot Do This Alone by Colony House. I love that. That was no, it wasn't. I was going to say it was my favorite track off of that album, but it was not. My favorite track off of that album is You and I, but You and I came out as a single much earlier on. Then when I first got the album, I listened to the whole thing. And then my favorite new song, so my favorite song on that album that wasn't previously released as a single, was Cannot Do This Alone. So I listened to that one a lot. That one's awesome. It's about just what it sounds like, unity and a celebration of humanity. And it's beautiful. I really, really like that song. Alternative rock. I feel like it has some Christian influence, perchance. Take it or leave it. I feel like some of the songs, and I don't remember if this song is that way or not. That album, I like the album a lot. I don't like it as much as When We Were Younger, which was their previous album, because I feel like When We Were Younger is very artistic in its religious influence, and I felt like this one was a little more blasé in its religious influence, and I personally prefer it to be more artistic, because then I feel like you can take it in any philosophical way. I don't know, I just feel like it elevates the art. And there were a few tracks on this one where I was like, not so much digging the Christian vibe. I have no problem with Christian music, I just wasn't feeling it in this particular context. This song I don't think was that way, but I don't recall off the top of my head. But because it was my favorite, one of my favorites on the album, I'm thinking it wasn't that way. But I really like that song. Cul De Sac by Phangs. I really, really, really like that song. It came out a while ago, and I had been listening to it in previous months. But it's one of those that just stays with you and doesn't get out of your head. Also, Jake Germany's amazing, and so I bought one of his sweaters, I think. So every time I wore that sweater, I would start singing that song. Also, I live in a cul-de-sac, so it just is one of those songs that just keeps popping in my head. And Jake's such a great guy. He's so cool. He has multiple musical projects, so I like a lot of the things that he's been involved with. He has some new songs now that came out after Cul De Sac, but in January I was listening to that one. Oh, it's kind of like an electronic thing. I feel like it's very 80s inspired, and it's cool. It's kind of a cutesy love song, like when he first, I don't know, when he first saw the girl on the Cul De Sac. I don't know, it's cute. Diamonds by Cemetery Sons. Is that true? Cemetery Sons, singular. I really like this track. This one's maybe like a little more pessimistic or a little aggressive. Not really. But it's really, really great. I love it musically. It's very, very catchy, very strong. Again, maybe not what I normally would listen to or gravitate towards. It's probably my favorite song off of that EP, and I was really enjoying it in January. You and I by Colony House. Apparently, in January I did multiples of the same album. I'll probably try not to do that as much in the other months. But You and I already talked about it. That's my very favorite single off of Only the Lonely. And the reason why I love it so much, I instantly loved it from the first time I heard it. I think the reason why it resonated so deeply with me, first of all, it feels very current for the socio-political climate. It feels very accessible. But also, I just like the sense of humor that it has, and I like its whimsy. I like some of the rock aspects. I just love everything about it. I feel like it's hilarious, it's well written, it's good music, and it's very catchy. I just love that song a lot. Satellite by Starset. So their album Vessels came out, I think it came out in January, because I don't think I was listening to too many of them. I don't think I was listening to it when they were singles. I think I just listened to the album when the whole thing came out. So I feel like that was in January. That album is completely amazing. I love that album so much. It's really hard to explain. It's kind of like a cinematic rock with a backstory of science fiction and also a lot of poetry. It's gorgeous. There's like a little bit of like almost some screamo, but not really. I don't think there's any in Satellite, but he does some really cool vocal screams. He's really good at it. He's very skilled. Dustin, I believe, is his name. I don't know. I'm new to Starset. I didn't know about them for Transmissions, the album Transmissions. I didn't hear about them until Vessels came out, and I really really like them. I think every single song on that album is just beautiful. You definitely have to be in the correct mood to listen to it, but I love it. Got it on vinyl. It's beautiful, gorgeous. Satellite might be one of my favorites. That's so hard to say. It depends on my mood. In January, I listen to Satellite a lot. It's a great album, great song. Moving Mountains. This one's amazing, very electronic inspired, I would say. And this is kind of another one about just kind of like the day-to-day life and you know, we talked about like slowing down or living in the moment, and this is kind of a contemplation about why are we doing what we're doing. Kind of we get in these cyclical patterns as humans, like you go to work, then you come home, then you go to sleep, so that you know, you're working so that you can live, but then you're just living to work, and it's just this cycle, and it's kind of just pondering like what's the point of all of this. And it's a little bit humorous, a little bit intellectual, and I love it a lot. So What by the Mowglis. Ah, man, this song came out last year. It's been out for a while, but I love it so much. The song is amazing. It's very high energy, it's very alternative. Again, very humorous. I love it a lot. I can't say enough good things about it. Why do I love it? So what if you know how to dig through the trash and come out with gold, yeah? So what if you broke? I'm sure someone probably cares, but I swear I don't, yeah. Monday's too long, sun is coming now, where'd your weekend go, yeah? I love it. It contains the lyrics from the title, making it the titular track, even though it's just called So What. Beautiful, so much fun to listen to, both on the weekends and during the weekday. A lot of spunk, a lot of fun, a lot of sass. Amateurs by Royal Teeth. This also came out a while ago, but I've been obsessed with it ever since it came out. The day it came out, I think it came out a few days, like before it was released on iTunes, it was released on some like blog or website, and I got very lucky. I happened to be at the right place at the right time, and like this, I think it was like Twitter or something. The second I decided to look at that band on Twitter, like 30 seconds earlier, they had just posted like, oh, here's our new thing. We're dropping it at this website. And so I listened to it, and I was immediately obsessed with it. I think within 5 minutes, I had picked out the guitar part and was playing it, and it's really amazing, really fun. It might be a little more um, amateur, and maybe it's like a tween pop song, but I love it. You can judge me all the way, but it's kind of Echo Smith-esque, maybe, if I could compare it to like a genre or class it with another artist, which I love the Echo Smith album, so I'm a fan. I don't care if that's childlike or juvenile. I feel like it's sentiments, you know, because we've all been in those phases. I feel like it's sentiments that we can all relate with. Plus, I'm not a very mature person, you know, I'm an adult. But it's just about, again, I guess it's another one about living in the moment and just the joie de vivre of living fully and completely without fear and without reserve. I Was King by 1 O'Clock. They're awesome Japanese band. They're on the Fueled by Ramen label, which is a fantastic label. I'm pretty sure that's how I found them, actually. And I really, really like that song. It's really high energy. It's like, I feel like it's a song that you listen to like when you're going for a run and like you need to get like pumped up. You can listen to that song and it'll amp you up. It's almost like a little more punk version of Viva La Vida by Coldplay is kind of what it is in my head. It's very like epic and fun and kind of a little bit living in the past, but then also learning to let go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why these are all like themed. These all have weird themes. I just found out. Maybe I by Farewell My Love. Man, I love this song so much. So much. It's not punk. It's like alternative with a little punk. But it's so good. I love this song so much. It's kind of about like those doubts, and maybe at the beginning it's a little bit of self-loathing and refusal to forgive yourself. And then it goes through learning to accept yourself and to accept your potential. Like, maybe I can do better, maybe I can be better, maybe I'm worth something. It's a really fun song, but I just made it sound like weird and pathetic, but it's a really great song. I really love it. It's very epic. Maybe I could read between the lines. No, that's not how it goes at all. I totally butchered that song. It's beautiful. You should listen to it. It's not beautiful because beautiful is like, woo, and it's like, it's really great. I love that song. It's a good one. Don't listen to me. Just go to Spotify and listen to it. It's beautiful. It's not beautiful. Stop saying girly adjectives. Why do I always say girly adjectives? I apologize. Oh my goodness, you guys are going to hate me. It's the third song from this album. But that album is so good. The song is Don't Speak For Me, True. The true is in a bob. If you don't know what a bob is, you should go watch my Joseph video. I talk about Bob. I tell you the backstory about Bob. I love that song so much. I believe that was the last single to be released before the full album dropped. I could be wrong on that. I became instantly obsessed. I stayed up all night playing it on the piano on repeat. Probably my neighbors thought I was insane. But that's okay because I have an electric piano, and so I had headphones in. So they just could hear me singing, hopefully. Hopefully they couldn't hear me singing. But I was like so obsessed with that. As soon as I heard it, some songs I need to listen to on repeat, and some songs I need to play. And this was one where I instantly, I had to play it. It had to come out of me, and it was beautiful. And I think I probably played it kind of nonstop for the next several days, both listening to it and playing on the piano. I think I even probably played it on guitar as well, but wow, what a great song. I feel like a lot of people maybe kind of take it as like a snarky thing, like it sounds like, oh no, but I feel like it's more of again, an internal patience about being in the right place at the right time and letting yourself not be there quite yet. And it's really amazing. I really, really love it. I really believe in it. A lot of it. It's an interesting song because I feel like it's very profound lyrically, but if you strip the lyrics from the music and just read the lyrics, you're like, okay, like that's not that spectacular or that amazing. But when you pair it with the music and the mood and the tone of all of the instrumentation, it becomes very, very powerful, which is interesting. A lot of times poetry becomes more potent when you put it in the forefront and you strip away the music. But in this case, this is a song that really gains a lot of its power in the unity of the lyrics and the melody. So that's really fun. I really enjoy the dichotomy of that. I enjoy both types of poetry and songs. But this is one that's beautifully paired together. Diagram of a Simple Man by Acceptance. I love this song so much. It came out a while ago, but I will never stop listening to it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love everything about it. I have a lot to say about it, but I'm supposed to just be doing like 20 seconds. So I'll just say that I wrote about it. I ranted about it on my blog forever ago. Apparently I got like a little too sciencey about it because I was like, math, science. I just feel like it's a beautiful artistic metaphor for human life and trying to explore the definition of human life. And does potential energy need to be realized in order for it to be actualized? And just a lot of really interesting scientific, mathematical, and acoustic concepts, but then obviously the emotional impact of that. And I feel like it purposefully switches, like it tries to make you think of math and science, but then it flips it on its head so you're like, wait a second. But it's really beautiful. The lyrics are extremely well written. The music is really fun, really beautiful, and I really, 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 really like that song a lot. Alive by Secret Company. This is another brand new discovery for me in the month of January. I had never heard of this band before that, and I really, really love this song. Probably my favorite off of that album. It's about, again, it's celebrating the feeling of being alive and what that means to you specifically in the moment, and the feeling of life and freedom. And it's really just an acoustic celebration of that. And it's mostly alternative, but I want to say maybe a little twinge of electronic, not really. Okay, my last song on the January playlist, Here Now Forever by Carousel Kings. I really, really, really like this song. It's probably my very favorite off of that album. which is really bizarre because it's probably the most different of anything. I feel like that album is pretty like punk pop, pretty like heavy punk pop maybe. I mean, the album has variety and it has some slower and some harder and it has some dynamic. But this song I feel like is very much different. It almost sounds like acoustic in comparison to the rest of the songs, but it's very calming and relaxing, ethereal. It was actually inspired by flotation therapy. I don't know how many of you have heard about that. I'm not going to talk about it because that would take way too much time. I would go off on so many tangents. But it's really beautiful, has an awesome guitar part, and I feel like it's very like meditative in its tone and in its lyrics. So I guess it's kind of fitting that we end here now forever. A lot of these songs, I didn't realize it before, but are just kind of themed about life and time passing and living in the moment and being alive. That's what I was apparently subconsciously thinking about in January. We'll leave with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this playlist. Hopefully you found like one or two songs that you'll like, that you can listen to whenever you want. Probably pretty soon we'll do February's playlist. Let me know, thumbs up if you like it, if you want to keep having me do these. If you have like suggestions or comments about either about continuing to do this or other ideas or suggestions, I'd love to hear it. Drop me a comment. I read them all and they make me smile. Yeah, so subscribe. I do new videos every Friday. They usually have to do with vinyl, not always. Sometimes it's just general music. You guys are the best. I hope you have the greatest week ever because you deserve it. Enjoy the playlist.